What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the DuClaw Brewing Company, and they're out of Baltimore, Maryland, and this is their Sour Me America, the 2023 release. So they're calling this one a Rocket Pop Sour Ale, and underneath it says ale brewed with tart cherry, raspberry, and lime. It comes in at 5.5% alcohol by volume, 10 IBUs, and at the time of review, this can is approximately 6 weeks old. Now, by the time you see this review, it'll probably be about a week since it was announced that DuClaw was bought by the River Horse Brewing Company out of New Jersey. Now, if you would have given me 100 guesses on what brewery would buy out DuClaw, River Horse would have been nowhere near the list at all for me. Like, it's kind of shocking, to be honest with you, but apparently DuClaw's production is going to move to the River Horse facility in New Jersey, so you won't be seeing their stuff produced in Maryland anymore, at least according to the press release. I don't know what they're doing with said brewery in Maryland. I don't know if they're going to keep it open, if they're going to sell it, what are they going to do with it. I have no idea. I just know that the news just broke, and I haven't really looked too far into it other than the press release, but that's kind of a bummer. When it comes to the craft beer industry and a lot of breweries being bought out or merging with other companies, you see stuff like this, and it's always a bummer for the locals that drink like DuClaw stuff. And I've been drinking DuClaw beer for 10 years. I haven't reviewed a lot on the channel, but back in the day, I really liked their stuff. Over the past 5 years, not as much, although I have enjoyed some beers from them. So yeah, it's just a bummer in general. Anyway, this beer, I've been eyeing it since last year, and I didn't grab it last year, so I bought it this year when it came out, and I'm pretty excited to give it a go. So they're calling it a Rocket Pop Sour, so it says, like a patriotic, lip-puckering rocket popsicle in your glass, we brought together 3 refreshing fruit flavors with, quote, Sour Me America, sip freely. So it's basically, depending on where you live and like the brand and whatnot, a Rocket Pop can be a Bomp Pop, it can be a Firecracker. Here, I've always referred to it as a Bomp Pop. It's basically the red, white, and blue popsicles that have, a cherry, lime, and blue raspberry flavor. I enjoy them, especially in the summer. I haven't had one in many years, but as a kid, I used to love them. And this, I'm looking forward to. I always like trying Rocket Pop or Bomp Pop flavored beers, because I just like those 3 flavors. They work very well together. So this it looks like there's actual cherry and raspberry in there for sure, because it has like this, orangey reddish color, very murky, can't see through it. I get a little bit of like a shadow, but you can't make my hand out through it. A finger of a really creamy, off-white, almost eggshell white looking head. You hold it up to the light. Yeah, you can see a little bit through, a little bit more, less of a shadow. It's a little brighter, but in general, that looks very nice in my opinion. Let's get a nose on it. So the raspberry and cherry are definitely there. It's weird because I'm getting this weird, like, what is that? There's a funkiness to this, and it doesn't seem like it's probably come from the combination of the fruits, but I can't specify it. I get the cherry. It's definitely like a tart cherry. It doesn't smell like a super sweet. It smells like a sweeter raspberry. I don't know, maybe it's the base kettle sour. There's this weird funkiness that's happening. Like sometimes when you get like sulfur in like a lager, I'm kind of getting something in that realm, or even like a straight up wild ale kind of scent. Not straight barnyard funk, but like something in that realm. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, this kettle sour, this is not a wild ale of any sort. It's not a farmhouse ale. Does it smell like a Rocket Pop or a Bomp Pop? Not exactly. I mean, I'm getting at least 2 of the 3 flavors in the nose or aromas. Really not getting the lime, and there's that funkiness there. Aroma-wise, it smells okay. That funkiness is kind of throwing me for a loop. It doesn't smell great, but hopefully it tastes a little better. So let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Taste is significantly better. Wow. That kind of tastes like a Rocket Pop in sour beer form. And what's really cool, and I've gotten this in one other, I think, like Bomp Pop, Rocket Pop kind of sour beer, I'm getting a substantial dryness on the back of the palate that's reminding me of like when you get down to the end of the popsicle stick, that like woody oak tannin like dryness. It's not like super big, and it doesn't necessarily have like the wood or like the the actual stick characteristic of like the flavor of it. It just has that drying effect you have. from that. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of, reminiscent of finishing up a Rocket Pop. Body's higher side of light, lower side of medium, 5.5%. It's fine. The mouthfeel, it's very crisp and effervescent. It's very refreshing on the palate because of that. There's a smoothness here. Really, it just, glides down the throat hole on the palate, just glides across very, very easily. Right up front, I'm hit with a combination of cherry and raspberry, and it's sweeter. But as it continues on, what happens is the cherry becomes more tart and the raspberry becomes more tart, and then it kind of hits with the lime. And it's kind of like halfway through the palate, like a burst of sourness that kind of hits you, right? So all that sweet, fruity goodness you get at the front of the palate is then drowned out by that pop of sourness from the lime and the other fruits midway through the palate. And then it continues on to the finish. I'm left with a full-on dry, no bitterness to speak of, but full-on dry beer that has a little bit of like an acidity, and it has like a lingering tartness. There's an underlying from the kettle sour like a slight grainy, almost weedy sensation. Very slight though. It's not like overblown or anything, but it's there. Yeah, like on the aftertaste, I get like a slight graininess. This is okay. So for what they're going for, Sour Me America, Rocket Pop, this would be something maybe somebody brings to like a 4th of July party or a cookout in the summer, a barbecue. This would be awesome to have like poolside. I could drink a couple of these, 5.5%. You can't really taste it. They did a pretty good job with this one. I'm not going to bullshit you. The nose though, not great. The taste, pretty damn good. So I'm digging this one. I'm glad I gave it a go. Hopefully, if they're going to move their production to River Horse, you're probably going to see some growing pains with them trying to dial in recipes and stuff there. Unless, have they already been brewing there or something? No, they don't say anything on the label. It just says DuClaw, Baltimore, Maryland. But you might see some of their like year-round favorites not taste the same. Maybe it'll take them 4 months, 6 months, a year to kind of dial it in. You see it a lot when you switch locations. So hopefully everything goes smoothly for DuClaw. But at the end of the day, I'm glad I picked this one up. If you like Rocket Pops, Bomb Pops, Firecrackers, whatever you call them, if you enjoy the popsicle and you enjoy sour beers, give this one a go, especially for like a shelfie beer. This is a beer that I'm reviewing for shelfie beers for June of 2023, and I'm glad I finally gave this a go, and it's a pretty damn good shelfie. So Sour Me America, the 2023 release from DuClaw, I have absolutely no issues giving that a straight 4 out of 5. That's kind of where it lands. If not for that aroma, I might even give it like a high 4 or low 4.25. I like the flavors, but that aroma, man, whew, that was not great. I probably undersold how not pleasing that aroma with that. Like, is it? Let me see if it's still there. Actually, yeah, there's just a weird funkiness. I've said this once before. I said like wet dog hair before in a review. People are like, wet dog hair? That sounds gross. That's what it's reminiscent. This is kind of like a little bit of a wet dog hair, but not fully. Now I go back and it's straight on tart cherry. But thankfully the taste is good. Price point availability, I've seen this a couple different places. The lowest I saw it for was, I think it was $10.99 a 6-pack, and then the most expensive was $12.99. So anywhere between $11 to $13 for a 6-pack, at least here in the Buffalo, New York area. It might be cheaper where you are, it might be more expensive. And the availability, it's DuClaw. You see them in a lot of different areas. I don't also know how moving the production to River Horse, I don't know how that's going to change the distribution of DuClaw, if they're going to like have to pull out of some areas for a while until they ramp up production. I have no idea how that's going to work. If anybody has any information on the buyout and whatnot, post in the comment section, let me know. But I hope DuClaw keeps on going. I've only reviewed a handful of beers from them on the channel, but they're one of those classic East Coast breweries that's been around for a while that used to make fantastic beer. I used to love them, and I still like picking up stuff from them to this day. So I hope they still do well, and I hope the whole buyout goes well. So anyway, if you've had this one before, any prior releases, this year's release, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. I think it's pretty good. I just wish the other one was a bit better. Anyway, to the next one. Cheers.